The mall was crowded, shoppers moving from store to store, the sound of chatter and footsteps filling the air. In the middle of it all, a black man in a simple hoodie walked slowly, observing the shops and the people. To everyone else, he looked like just another customer. But he wasn't. The security guards, however, saw him differently. Their eyes followed him as if he didn't belong there. One whispered to the other, smirking, "Watch this guy. He looks suspicious." The man stopped near a jewelry store, admiring a display. Within seconds, 2 guards approached, their tones sharp and filled with authority. "Hey, you step away from the glass." The man turned calmly, his voice polite. "I was just looking," but the guards didn't care. They stepped closer, their voices rising loud enough for shoppers nearby to hear. "Don't play games. We've been watching you. You don't belong here. Let's go." People in the mall began to stare. Some shook their heads in sympathy, others whispered cruel assumptions. The man remained calm, his hands by his side, not causing any trouble. Yet the guards grabbed his arm roughly. "Out now," dragging him toward the exit. The shoppers laughed, some even recording the scene with their phones. "Another troublemaker," someone muttered. The humiliation was heavy. A father and his daughter watched, the little girl tugging at her dad's hand. "Why are they being mean to him?" she asked. The father looked away, uncomfortable. The man being dragged kept his composure, didn't resist, didn't raise his voice. His eyes, however, burned with something no one noticed: power and knowledge of what was about to happen. As the guards shoved him closer to the doors, one of them sneered, "People like you don't deserve to be here. This mall is private property." The man finally stopped walking. He turned his head slowly, looking directly at both guards. His voice, calm yet sharp, cut through the noise around them. "You sure about that?" he asked. The guards frowned, confused. "What do you mean?" The man gave the faintest smile, one that hinted at a truth no one in the mall was ready for. The crowd, sensing something was off, leaned in, waiting for what would happen next. The security guards dragged him closer to the entrance, their grip firm as if he were a criminal. A group of teenagers pulled out their phones, recording and laughing. "He probably tried to steal," one of them said loudly. The whispers of the crowd cut deeper than the shove of the guards, but the man didn't resist. Instead, he reached into his pocket slowly, deliberately. The guards tightened their hold, one snapping, "Don't even think about it." The man calmly pulled out a sleek black phone and pressed a single button. Within seconds, the sound of footsteps echoed, polished shoes striking against the marble floor. Several men and women in suits appeared from the mall's offices, their expressions serious, their pace quick. The guards blinked, startled. Who are they?" one whispered. The suited group stopped just feet away. The leader, a tall man with a badge clipped to his jacket, spoke firmly. "Is there a problem here?" "Yes," one guard said with a laugh of false confidence. He tightened his grip on the black man's arm. "This guy doesn't belong here. We're escorting him out." The suited man raised an eyebrow, his tone sharp. "You're making a mistake." The crowd fell silent, murmurs spreading. Cameras from phones zoomed closer. Something didn't add up. The man in the hoodie, who had been calm from the start, finally straightened his shoulders and looked around at everyone. "I tried to walk quietly," he said, his voice steady but filled with weight. "But it seems respect is too expensive in this place." He reached into his other pocket and pulled out a leather folder. The gold seal on it gleamed under the bright mall lights. Gasps erupted from those close enough to see it. The guards stepped back slightly, confusion spreading across their faces. "What? What is that?" one stammered. The man opened the folder, revealing documents with signatures and official seals. He raised his voice so the crowd could hear. "This mall, this building. Every store and every corner of it," he paused, letting the tension build, "belongs to me." The words struck like thunder. Shoppers gasped, phones trembled in hands, and even the guards froze in disbelief. "You're lying," one guard scoffed, though his voice was weak. You can't own this place." The suited man beside him stepped forward, his voice echoing with authority. "Actually, he does. He's the sole owner of this property, and you." He turned to the guards with a glare. "Just assaulted your boss." The crowd erupted, some gasped, others cheered. The guards' faces went pale. Their arrogance drained instantly, replaced with fear. The black man's eyes narrowed, his calmness sharper than any shout. "I gave you every chance to treat me with respect. And now, you'll face the consequences. The entire mall was waiting, phones recording, breaths held. What would happen to the guards now that the truth was out? The guards' hands fell away instantly, their arrogance melting into panic. One stammered, "Sir, we didn't know." "We were just—" The black man raised his hand, silencing them. The entire mall leaned in, cameras rolling, the weight of justice heavy in the air. His voice was calm, but it carried the authority of someone who owned not just the building, but the respect that came with it. "You judged me by my skin, by my clothes. You treated me like a criminal, my own building." The crowd erupted in murmurs, the truth sinking in. Parents pulled their children closer, whispering about the lesson unfolding before their eyes. The suited manager stepped forward, his expression stern. "Mr. Carter, how should we proceed?" The billionaire owner, no longer just a man in a hoodie, turned to face the guards. Their faces were pale, their confidence gone. "You humiliated me in front of everyone here, but more importantly, you showed this crowd who you really are." He snapped his fingers. Two more staff members in suits appeared, carrying envelopes. They handed them to the guards. The guards opened them with trembling hands, termination letters. "You're fired, effective immediately." Gasps and cheers rippled through the crowd. Some even clapped. Others recorded with wide smiles, knowing this video would go viral by morning. One guard fell to his knees, begging, "Please, sir, I need this job. I didn't mean it." The man's eyes softened for a moment, then hardened again. "You didn't mean it? Or you didn't expect me to have power?" "Respect isn't optional. It's the minimum." He turned toward the crowd, his voice rising with authority, no longer just addressing the guards, but everyone watching. "Never underestimate someone because of how they look. You don't know their story. You don't know their power. And today, you all learned a lesson that should never be forgotten." The mall burst into applause. Shoppers who had mocked him now looked ashamed. Parents pointed him out to their kids, whispering, "That's real strength." As the guards were escorted out, the billionaire owner stood tall in the very place they had tried to drag him from. This time, people didn't see a man in a hoodie. They saw the man who owned the mall, turned, gave one last look at the crowd, and walked back inside, this time not as a victim, but as the undeniable proof that respect is the greatest power of all.